y'all? What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Brandy, how's it going tonight? I hope you guys having a good night, a good Sunday. Trying to see if we can have more folks share the live, invite more people. We're gonna be talking about something very important. How's everybody Sunday doing? Y'all had a good Sunday? Everything's good, Brandy? Like you already see the name, we're gonna be talking about physical abuse in a relationship. And we already know when we mean what I mean by physical abuse, we're going to be talking about the different stages that people usually go through without them thinking about what's really going on with them, as far as them staying in a situation, give them a visual of what exactly they are going through and what they are supposed to do, because sometimes people do not really see the problem until you could actually show it to them. So we have a video here that's going to give you guys a bit of a visual. You know what I mean? If you have friends, if you have family members that are currently going through something like that, hey, physical abuse is never good. So we already know that some of you guys have already been dealing with verbal abuse. You know what I mean? Sexual abuse and everything. Physical abuse is basically the last stage. You know what I mean? And sometimes folks don't really think about it, because sometimes they'll be giving themselves multiple reasons to not leave the relationship. You know what I mean? Sometimes folks will think about it as if maybe is going through something, maybe she's going through something, without understanding that the person wouldn't be putting hands on you if they really loved you. That's why I always say, that's why I always tell folks whenever they come to me asking me questions as far as them dealing with physical abuse. The first thing I always say is, if your significant other actually loved you, they would have never put hands on you. That's just me being 100% with you guys. If the person that you're in a relationship with, if they really understood the amount of love that you got for them, they would never put hands on you. If they really understood that, you know, the amount of things that you guys have probably already done in a relationship, the amount of sacrifices, how much you really care for them, they would never put hands on you. But unfortunately, things are not as perfect as a lot of people would expect it. But the one thing that I'm here to tell you is, whenever you are dealing with physical abuse in a relationship, that should be the last step. That should be the last step. Okay. So definitely share that live. I'm gonna be checking in with the comments. DS compilation. Hey, what's going on? We have some Haitian folks in the comments. HT, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome aboard. Let me go ahead. I think I put something on Facebook. Let me see if the folks on Facebook are seeing it. If we have more folks here. All right. So yeah, when it comes to physical abuse, a lot of folks usually have many excuses to say that the person could be going through something. Despite, let me tell you, despite whatever the person could be going through, if they do not see you as the love of their lives, you know what I mean, they will never put hands on you. If the person say they love you, if the person say they want to spend the rest of their lives with you, putting hands on you would be the last thing in their mind. You know what I mean? So if you ever get in that situation, you should already understand that this is not the relationship you should be in. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip, and we're gonna go ahead and break it down. Let's see what we got here. All right.
Anything special like that.
I don't know
We
if you
had an
guys were able
argument
to see
last
it.
night, and he said a lot of cruel things that really hurt my feelings. But I guess he's sorry because he got me these flowers today.
Let's just go with the first verbal abuse situation. If you're looking at the video and the way she started talking about it, is that she got flowers last night. She got flower today. All right. She got flowers today. One of the things that you're gonna realize from the first steps is that, man, DS, I'm glad that you already put that this question or this logic in. But yeah, from the very beginning, you're gonna notice that she is completely naive from the entire situation. Okay. Oh yeah, we got into an heated argument, and he got me flowers today. The first thing he tried to do was to put hands on her neck, right? He was trying to choke her, right? The problem with that situation is that sometimes people don't really see the steps because they are not paying attention to it. They started with the argument. The argument is going to change the stages into something more aggressive. But as you can see, the first step of the video, it's already showing you, it's already showing you that, there's already abuse. Not completely physical yet, but there's already verbal abuse because he said a bunch of stuff, a bunch of negative stuff to her at the very beginning. That shows you that, okay, whenever we talk about physical abuse, it's never just physical abuse. There are always other things that are always underneath those physical abuse. And from those stages, that's when they change step by step into hurting you more without you realizing that this person who's supposed to love you is actually hurting you. Let's go ahead and continue the video.
I got flowers today. No,
Second
it's
time.
not our anniversary or any other special day. Last night he threw me into a wall and choked me and then beat me till I passed out. I woke up bloody and bruised all over. It was actually a nightmare. I guess he is sorry though, because I got these flowers today.
Now he went from heated argument, right? Saying things to her, right? The verbal abuse, right? Now is basically slamming her, right? You see how the steps are changing path each and every time the person put hands on you? That's the problem. And a lot of folks don't really think about the stages, you know what I mean? The multiple steps, because they are sometimes so deeply in love with the person without realizing that this person doesn't really love you. They don't understand that this person doesn't really love you. For you to be thinking that somebody's putting hands on you, then they're gonna give you flowers. That's like love bombing. That's narcissistic. That is toxic to the highest level. This person doesn't love you. And the reason why I'm saying they don't love the person doesn't love you is because they wouldn't put hands on you. He went from verbal abuse to physical abuse real quick. And sometimes that's why I always tell folks, sometimes you have to learn to defend yourself. Because if you keep saying that, okay, it did that, but I don't think it really meant it. What she did, she didn't really know what she was doing. What he did, he didn't really understand what he was doing to me. That's you convincing yourself that the situation that you're in is not actually as worse as it is. Well, the entire thing could be very, very fatal. And the reason why I decided to even go live tonight about that is because, I realize how blinded a lot of people are. It's like from time to time you'll find them being in a very abusive relationship. All they have is judging themselves to say things like, maybe if I didn't do this, he would have never put hands on me. Nobody's supposed to be putting hands on nobody, male or females. That's the bottom line. Nobody is supposed to be putting hands on nobody. But a lot of people refuse to understand that. Let's continue the path. Remember, second time. That's number 3.
I got flowers today. No, it's not Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me again and again and again. It was worse, much worse than any other day before. He wanted to sleep with me, and I'm on my period, so I wasn't up for it. A couple of kicks, punches to the face, and he had his way.
Okay. Remember, at the very beginning of the video, it was just heated argument. He said some very, very negative stuff, right? Some very hurtful stuff, right? So it went from very hurtful things that he said to her to putting hands on her. Now, not only he was putting hands on her, but now is sexually abusing her. So you remember when I was talking about the stages, the multiple steps, things that usually happen, you know what I mean? And from time to time, people are gonna sit here thinking that I don't really think this, I don't really think that, or I think he's gonna change at some point. He's got a lot of things going on. Let me tell you something. Most people that are going to abuse you, unfortunately, they already know what they are doing. They already know what they are not supposed to do. And you staying in a situation that's hurting you more, you staying in a situation that's hurting you more just to think the person is going to change is one of the reasons why there are so many people that are victim today from physical abuse. Victim in a sense where they have some scars left because they thought the person was going to change. They thought the person loved them. Well, the entire time the person was just doing exactly what they wanted to do, what they were here to do. They were only there to hurt you. And some people, unfortunately, are not even here with us today. Some people are not even alive because of the simple fact that too many people are too optimistic about physical abuse in a relationship. And the reason why I focus on physical abuse like that is because, unfortunately, this is one of the most difficult paths. This is one of the things that, even after therapy, it's still gonna hunt you down because it's a combination of all of them. Physical abuse is not just physical abuse. It's gonna affect you mentally. It's gonna affect you emotionally, psychologically. It's gonna affect you, and on top of that, you're gonna have a mark that you're gonna be walking around with, constantly reminding you of things that you should have done. Roshanda said, "Grateful that I got out." Yes, don't entertain the idea that the person's gonna change. Don't ever think that this person loves you. No, they don't. Most likely, they don't even love themselves. So the idea of them loving you is impossible. That's why they keep hurting you. Let's continue now.
I got flowers today, and today is actually a very special day. It's the day of my funeral.
There you go.
Last night he beat me to death. If only I had the courage and the strength to leave him, maybe I wouldn't have gotten flowers today.
Did you just hear what she said? She kept getting flowers, love bombing. Each and every time, each and every time she got flowers. Forgive me, baby. I'll never do it again, right? I'm just going through a lot. I'm just stressed right now. I don't know what to do with myself. All right. I forgive you, baby. Thanks for the flowers. You keep getting flowers, right? You keep getting excuses. You keep letting the person back in. Now she finally got some more flowers, right? Guess what happened? That's a funeral. From the point that I saw this video, I was like, you know what? I definitely need to make a live about it because I feel like so many people are so stranded with the idea that somebody is going to change. They are so hopeful to think that, yeah, I think at some point he's going to realize that I really love him. Yeah, he knows you love him too much. That's why I keep getting away with things. That's why every time you guys break up, you ended up going back together. You understand the many chances that you keep giving him. And it's not just a man thing. I've known a lot of brothers who've been in physical abuse too. So from the time that you find yourself in a situation like that, you have to leave. Globally, as many as 38% of murders of women, 38%. That's just for women. I know some situation where males have actually dealt with similar situations as well. The only thing is, physically speaking, you can't really do a lot of things to a guy unless he allows you to do it. But I've known some women who've actually put poison in people's food. There was a video about 2 years ago about this lady who just was in a heated argument with with her husband. She didn't tell him anything. He did not wake up the next day though. And that's the type of situation I'm telling you. Whenever you start seeing certain behaviors, don't just sit there and automatically think that, oh yeah, I think the person is going through something. Yes, the person is going through something. I understand that. But the thing that they are going through is affecting you. What are you doing about that? What is it that you're gonna do about that? Yes, the person is doing something, or they're going through something. That's understandable. What are you doing about it? Because it's affecting you. Brandy said, "I'm glad that I got away from my ex-husband. It was emotional abuse." Yeah, like I said, it's a combination of everything. You don't just sit there and then think that, oh yeah, it's gonna shift itself. No, because chances are, if they are doing it to you now, they're probably gonna be doing it to somebody else. They probably already done it to some other people. You're just the next victim. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. You are just the next victim. And sometimes people don't really pay attention about things like that because they really think they got it under control. You don't. You don't got it under control at all. You know? They're just taking advantage of you knowing that you love them too much. Um Someone said, may you speak about that regarding regard to culture as well. Growing up Haitian, it was seen as normal. That's another thing. It's not just a cultural thing. I've known a lot of people who have actually come to me and told me about the situations they are going through. And there's a lot of emotional abuse, there's a lot of verbal abuse. One lady even told me that she thought it was normal. She thought this was part of being married. She thought him talking to her any kind of way, telling her what she's supposed to do, and put hands on her when she doesn't do it the way he wants her to do it, was part of being married. The lack of knowledge within that entire situation is what's really hurting a lot of people. Some people don't think or understand the situation they are in is not supposed to be this way. And sometimes, other people gonna see me making videos like that, like, yeah, everybody already know that. No, A lot of people are currently in relationships not knowing exactly what they're supposed to do. And that's why I always tell folks, don't just sit in the house expecting somebody to pay all the bills. Because one of the first things they're gonna do is, take financial support away from you. That's another type of abuse. Once they start to beat you up and you start to wake up, they're gonna take financial support away from you. So now not only you didn't have a voice, they keep beating you up, but on top of that, you don't have any money to go anywhere. You can't even run anywhere. Your name is not in any bank accounts. You're just stuck. That's why I always tell folks, don't just expect a guy to pay all the bills. Do something and get your money on the side. Because when situations get crazy, you're gonna be the one regretting it. And the first thing a narcissist is gonna do is cutting your financial support. One of the most common things I've heard people talk about is, yeah, from the time that I started reacting from the things he used to do to me, or from the things she used to do to me, the finances, I couldn't even understand what was going on anymore. I lost my credit card, this that. They ended up taking stuff away from me without me realizing them. I had to go to him for this. I had to go to her for this. It was a constant situation, and that's the problem, because a lot of us think, oh yeah, man, I know, we're going through stuff right now, but it's part of the ups and downs. It's not. It's not. The person being toxic to you has absolutely nothing to do with ups and downs. The sooner you realize that, the better it's gonna be for you. Yeah, somebody, Roshanda said, some abusers don't let you work. Yeah, they want control. Why would I let you work? I'm gonna take care of you, baby. And I understand, by the time you take the idea of you ever having a job, that's me controlling everything in the house. So my frustrations, you're gonna, and this is the mind trick. Sometimes you're gonna be in situations where, you know, the person that you're with, you're gonna be sitting home feeling bad over the fact that they are working too much, while the person could be out there cheating on you. It's a constant situation. That's why I'm telling people, 2021, I don't want anybody to not have a job or not have a way to make money. Don't do that. Trying to find a job. Don't just. I understand the pandemic. The pandemic, I've actually taken away a bunch of jobs from people. But by the time you get back on your feet, everything is back to normal. Unless you have some other situations going on, get you a little job, because the first thing abusers gonna do is act like they're gonna take care of you. Financial isolation. Everything gotta go through them, and that's the problem. A lot of us don't think about it as a problem until it becomes a problem. Because once you start reacting to the things they've been doing to you, you're going to start seeing them taking money away from you. And if you don't have money at some point, what you're going to do? Suffocate? Now you have to go back being submissive again just because you don't have money. And this is the type of people who's just going to slap you out of nowhere. This is the type of people who's going to beat you up out of nowhere. Just like we watched it on the video, you know? And that's the problem. Physical abuse is a real thing. And the problem with physical abuse is that it's a combination of a lot of things. It's never just physical abuse. For those of you who just got here, I was playing a video where, you know what I mean, I was showing the things that happened in that video, as far as examples that you, if you are in an abusive relationship right now, in a physical abusive relationship right now, you have to understand one thing. This is not a place to stay. You have to leave. Don't expect changes. He's not going to change. It's all about control. And for the many reasons a lot of people are going to stay in those relationships thinking the person's going to change. You have kids with the abuser. Imagine your son, your daughter watching you getting beat up by your dad every day, right? Imagine your kids watching your wife talking down on you every day. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Imagine you going through the process of dealing with emotional abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse right in front of your kids. Now you're already setting up the wrong examples. Why? Because those kids, they're going to think this is what a relationship is supposed to be like. And by the time they finally wake up, shaky, shaky, welcome. And by the time they finally wake up, they're going to realize one thing: this was not the way that my parents were supposed to act. Now, it's either they become too submissive to the next person they end up in a relationship with, or they just hate the idea of being in a relationship. That's why some people are going to tell you, I'm never going to get married. Because why? I used to watch my mom disrespect my dad, talking down on him every day. I used to watch my dad beating my mom up right in front of us. Instead of having to go through the process of dealing with somebody constantly telling me stuff just because we are married, I don't want to get married. That's why so many people are so skeptical when it comes to getting married. They don't want to because they've already seen what's been going on at home when they were little. So that child is going to grow up understanding that my dad was a woman beater. And sometimes they're going to end up adapting to the things that they've been seeing growing up. That's why a lot of kids are toxic. That's why kids will go to school bullying other kids. They think it's normal to put hands on somebody else because they've seen it at home. The reproduction is even worse than what's really going on at home. When the kids are seeing things like that, they're gonna do it thinking this is okay. And by you allowing it, and a lot of people are gonna tell you, yeah, the reason why I'm staying in this relationship is because of the kids. But you are hurting the kids in the process. You are not defending yourself. So now they're gonna wake up thinking a marriage is supposed to be about the guy beating the woman, and the woman cannot say a word. So by the time they get in a relationship, if this happened to them, they're gonna have to be submissive to it. There's absolutely nothing they could do. And that's the situation. So if you know somebody, your sister, your brother, your friend, your coworker, if they have to walk around the job with glasses on every time you get to meet up, there's always some situations. Let them know they don't have to stay in that relationship because the relationship's gonna be the reason why they are gone. Yeah, shaky. That's crazy. My ex's dad was brutal, but his wife stayed. So when I so about that. So when I left, he said that I wasn't supposed to leave. You're supposed to love me. You see, that's the problem. That's not true love. If you're gonna tell me unconditional love means that I have to allow you to keep putting hands on me, that's not love. You hurting me. You hurting me. Why do I have to sit here listening to whatever you expect me to listen to? You know what I mean? Well, the entire time I could have just left. And Shaky, I'm glad you left because when it comes to relationship abuse, there are different stages to them. You know what I mean? Yeah, call the police. They have people, they have resources available for y'all. And it's not just a woman thing, it's a men thing too. Physically speaking, the percentage might not be as high as women, but I've known some brothers who've dealt with physical abuse in their relationships as well. There are some women, for any reason, they'll put their hands on a guy's face and expect, the guy to just walk away because that's how society says it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Some people are just disrespectful. Some people are just abusive. Some people would just do things to you and expect you to just suck it up in the name of love. Don't ever do that because love has absolutely nothing to do with it. The minute the person put hands on you, understand love is gone. Even if you love that person to death, understand it's time for you to leave, man. And I don't know, sometimes you'll get to therapy. That's why I always tell folks, if you're gonna see a counselor, if you're gonna see a professional, don't just do it like as a couple, because the toxic person, the abuser, might not even want you to be doing it as by yourself. Sometimes, in order for you to really talk about certain things, you have to do it alone. Let let the counselor know exactly what's going on with you, because they're gonna try to stop you, especially the abusers. They're gonna try to stop you. Oh no, she doesn't know what she's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Yes, they do. You've been abusing them emotionally. You've been abusing them financially, sexually, physically. Abuse is abuse. And if you ever find yourself in such situation, don't just sit there and expect everything to be okay or expect things to change. It's not gonna change. And if you're gonna stay there, keep crying and keep asking people why this person is treating me that way, nobody's gonna help you. In situations like that, nobody's gonna help you. You got to help yourself. You got to help yourself. If you don't believe that, hey, you're gonna be in that relationship for way too long, and anything's possible in relationships like that. Literally anything is possible. So from the point that you find yourself, you realize that your significant other is abusive, run, run. You have a daughter who's dealing with abusive relationship. Hey, if you have to save them, man. I don't care what it is, because that's your personal interest. Yes, the person, they have their own relationships, but when this guy comes back home and does something crazy, you're gonna be the one losing. Inform people about the things that are available to them. You know what I mean? Because the minute you call 911, trust me, if you have to leave and then make a police report, do that. If you have to sneak out, do that. However you do it, just don't stay. That's what's important. However you do it, just don't stay. And the idea that a lot of people think that's part of marriage, it's not. A relationship is not supposed to be like that. Yes, we're gonna argue. Yes, we're gonna go through stuff, but abuse in a relationship is never going to be part of the ups and downs. Never. Understand that. Abuse will never be part of the ups and downs. And I'm glad there are multiple women in the comment section that have dealt with similar situations and decided to leave the relationship. The logic that you're supposed to love me unconditionally, mm-mm. I love you, but I also love myself. That's what's important. I love you, but I also love myself, you know? So from that situation alone, you have to understand that I'm not gonna sit there and allow you to abuse me just because I love you. Because if you did love me, you wouldn't abuse me. That's what it is. Just that simple. If you loved me, you wouldn't abuse me. Just that. Nothing more, nothing less. And if somebody has a problem with that, they could stay with that person. And don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're thinking for them more than you are thinking for yourself. Because like you saw in the video, he went from arguing with her, verbally abusing her, to physically abusing her, to sexually abusing her, and at the end she got killed. You see the steps? Most abusers will abuse themselves. Yes, most, but not all of them. Most. Some kids had parents who actually allowed them to do certain things because the parents were bullies themselves. Parents would associate the idea of having fun with their kids by disrespecting other people. Some abusers were abused, totally understandable. But there are abusers as well that actually learned that thing from the same behaviors that their parents had towards other people. Like you ever had a neighbor who basically every time the person opens their mouth, it's verbal abuse. It's like anything the person says is like, ah, why are you so negative? And when they have kids, they don't understand the same behavior. The kids are learning it. That's why some people are racist. You think it's okay, so you do it in front of your kids. Your kids adapt it and think it's okay. Yeah. If you marry an abuser after you done with that person, you'll be able to marry somebody else, but you have to heal. In most cases, that's why I always tell folks as well. After you're done with an abusive relationship, after you're done with a toxic relationship, after you're done with a narcissistic relationship, heal is one of the most important things to do. You need to heal. You got to because you've already been through a lot. Staying and expecting things to change, you are hurting yourself more. You got to heal, take all the damage, all right, all the pieces, all the broken pieces, put them back together. Emotionally speaking, you've been all over the place. You haven't been yourself. Get back into the real you. That's why a lot of people don't understand. Do what you got to do, man. But most importantly, leave that abusive relationship. Leave that abusive relationship. Very important. Because the more you stay, hmm, you realize you'll lose years of your life that you'll never be able to get back. Never. Self love. Adam, self love. You have to love yourself. You have to put yourself first. That has absolutely nothing to do with being selfish. If the person did love you, they would never done anything they already did to you. If they loved you, they would never abuse you. 100%. That's why, yeah, yeah. Sometimes, like she said, Roshanda, you have to get you a little career, get you something, a little backup plan. Yes, your man is making 150,000, 250,000, $500,000 a year. What about your money? Because if financially speaking, everything has to go through him to get to you, you're done. If anytime when it comes to money, he has to be the one giving you money, you're done. And that's why a lot of people don't understand. Everybody wants somebody to take care of them. Yeah, I understand that. That's nice, right? But when this person realized that, okay, I'm gonna take care of you, but from time to time I have to beat you up. What are you gonna do about it? From time to time I have to put hands on you. What you gonna do about it? So now you're gonna stay in a relationship just because you don't have any money. And sometimes they will tell you things like, I don't want you to work. This is 2021. What do you mean you don't want me to work? Especially if you're noticing abusive behaviors. Get your backup plan. Especially if you have kids, get your backup plan. Because like I said earlier, while you're fighting for your life, you're not watching exactly what you're teaching those kids. A lot of kids are messed up in the head nowadays. It's not because of anything else, but the parents, one parent was too toxic for the other one, and the other one was too submissive. That's the problem. One, that kid's gonna grow up thinking that they are supposed to be submissive. Two, that kid is gonna grow up to be like, you know what, I don't want to ever be in relationships anymore. Three, that kid is gonna grow up to be toxic just like the toxic parent because that's all they've been watching. There's a difference, the copulation. There's a difference between soul tie and trauma bonding. A lot of people don't understand that. Soul tie is deeply connected with spiritually. A lot of people have that confused. They think they have soul tie with somebody. Your soul is not tied with anybody because most people don't even know the different level of intimacy. You think that this person is your soulmate? No, you're dealing with trauma bonding. And some people do not understand the idea of leaving a relationship because this relationship is worse to you than other people. And that's why I always tell folks, you won't understand how bad the relationship that you're in until you start healing. Because as long as you stay in that relationship, the one thing that's going to start happening is that you're going to also become toxic, toxic to yourself and toxic to others. But since your relationship is too toxic, you won't understand it until you're no longer part of that relationship. Toxicity come with patterns. So now that you're toxic, this is like a vaccine. It's already in you. You're gonna start missing certain things from that person because of the trauma bonding. That's why some people get excited by drama. Some people get excited about talking bad about other people. A bunch of people need to go to counseling because after you've dealt with an abuser for so long, you become okay with the abuse. That's why some people will tell you, I don't expect anything but 15% of drama in my relationship. All right. Good night, Brandy. Have a good night. Thanks for having you. Thanks for being here. Um, you have to understand trauma bonding is one of the most important, most difficult situations because a lot of people tend to confuse it with, like you said, soul bonding. Is oh yeah, yeah, you know what? That's my soulmate. I know we toxic to each other. No, no, no. It's not your soulmate. Y'all just toxic. You're too toxic together to the point where you think it's okay to just be with the person. Now you start saying things like, "Oh yeah, I'm crazy, he's crazy, so it's good." No, it's not good. You're so used to it now you think it's okay. That's what trauma bonding does. You are so used to it, if you don't get it now, it's a problem. That's why sometimes people would leave a bad relationship, then they find a good person. They are not happy with the good person because the person is not toxic to them. That's what's wrong. And when you in situations like that, you are most likely going to hurt yourself more than understanding what's really going on in the relationship. Because now you've been in a toxic relationship for so long, every day all you're gonna think about is like, yeah, man, I think this guy is the guy that I want to spend the rest of my life with. This girl is the girl that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Then you're gonna go have some sex, have kids. Now you deeper in the mess, not thinking that you should have left that person from the very minute you understand that they were too toxic for you. But now, not only they are toxic already, now you become toxic too. Now you're gonna start doing toxic things to each other, petty things, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. You think that, oh yeah, it's because we love each other, or it's because we cannot stay away from each other. No, trauma bonding. Soulmate is pure. When you be dealing with a toxic person, when you are dealing with a narcissist, when you are dealing with an abuser, the tendency is to change you into becoming something that you never thought possible. That's why I always tell folks, make sure that you have a different percentage when it comes to the amount of toxicity you're gonna allow from somebody. Because if it's already too high for you, it's gonna turn you toxic too. Rashonda, thank you for being here. So whenever you get in the mindset to think this person, y'all already been through a lot. I posted a live yesterday on Facebook where I talked about a relationship is not an assignment. No, if it's already toxic, if the person's already abusive, understand it's time for you to bounce. If you are here doing too much mentally, emotionally, hurting yourself constantly, it's time for you to bounce. Don't worry about whatever anybody say. That's your life. Because the more you stay, you're gonna become like them, and they're gonna continue to suck the life out of you. So if you know somebody, I'm gonna go ahead and play the video one last time for the people who aren't here yet. If you know somebody who've been in abusive relationships,
We had an argument last
send
night,
them this life.
and he said a lot of cruel things that really hurt my feelings, but I guess he's sorry because he got me these flowers today. I got flowers today. No, it's not our anniversary or any other special day. Last night he threw me into a wall. And choked me. And then beat me till I passed out. I woke up bloody and bruised all over. It was actually a nightmare. I guess he is sorry though, because I got these flowers today. I got flowers today. No, it's not Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me again and again and again. It was worse, much worse than any other day before. He wanted to sleep with me, and I'm on my period, so I wasn't up for it. A couple of kicks, punches to the face, and he had his way. I got flowers today, and today is actually a very special day. It's the day of my funeral. Last night he beat me to death. If only I had the courage and the strength to leave him, maybe I wouldn't have gotten flowers today.
So yeah, I had to play the video one last time. So folks, understand relationship abuse from physical, emotional, from verbal, emotional, psychological, financial, sexual, physical, anything that has abuse in it, it's time for you to leave. If the person is too toxic for you, if there's no way to compromise about certain things, if there's no way to set up boundaries on certain things, it's time for you to to leave the relationship. Do not entertain the idea that the person is gonna change. Do not entertain the idea that the person is just going through something. Never. When it's time to leave, you must leave. 100%. All right. I think we're about to hit the hour mark. Let me see if there's any questions. If not, definitely appreciate you guys for being here. I know it's getting late for some of you guys. Definitely appreciate y'all for being here. I plan on doing more lives like this one because sometimes on a 15, 13, 8 minute video, you don't really say much. So sometimes, you know what I mean, when we're talking about things like that, it's always good to just go live and then talk about things one on one, share life stories and everything, things that can definitely help somebody else, you know what I mean, in the process. Because sometimes people do not really think about it as a problem until it becomes the biggest problems. You know what I mean? So definitely share this live with the folks you know. Anybody you think is currently going through something like that, you might not want to tell them anything. Just just send them that video. Have them take a look at it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people might not want to listen to something that you have to say, but by the time you give them a visual on it, they could have a better understanding as far as what to expect. You know what I mean? So thank you so very much for being here. Really appreciate all of y'all for spending that time with us. Hope that you guys have a great week. I know that pandemic's still around, but definitely expect y'all to have a great week and enjoy the rest of your night and have a great week. Right? I already said that. All right. Thank you very much, folks. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.